If you're wanting the ultimate escape, to run wild in nature and be one with the jungle and all the endemic species that inhabit an island full of hidden gems, then join us as we dive into the awe-inspiring destination of Christmas Island, a true natural wonder. Hey, I'm Steph, and I'm obsessed with all things travel, marketing, branding, and helping you stand out from the crowd. In just under 2 years, I went from being a home-based travel agent with zero clue how to make it work in the digital world to launching an international ranking travel podcast and creating an online course to help travel agents in lead generation. Here's one thing I know for sure. There has never in the history of the world been a better time to create the travel business you've always wanted. All you need is an actionable strategy and someone to show you the way. Picture this, we're going to spend the next hour of our time together at the Swim Up Pool Bar, where over a cocktail, we deep dive into travel-related topics, mixed with a little classroom training. This show is dedicated to encouraging you to step outside of your comfort zone and into your travel business. I'll show you how I did it and how you can too. Hit subscribe now and let's get into it. If you're a travel agent wanting to onboard your perfect fit clients into your biz, download my free cheat sheet for lead generation systems you can use right now. Head to stephaниemyers.academy/cheat sheet. You're listening to Unplug in Paradise, the podcast. Hello and welcome back to Unplug in Paradise. My name is Stephanie Myers and I'm your travel agent and host. I feel like I have been on such a journey lately with the podcast. The content that is being produced has been so well received by you all. Thank you so very much for plugging in every week and sharing the episodes with your people. I am absolutely loving receiving all of your reviews and feedback every week. So if you've listened recently and want to send over your love, feel free to get in touch over on Instagram, as that's where I've been hanging out most of the time. The details on how to get in touch with me are over on the show notes. Another reason why I've been obsessing with Unplug in Paradise lately too is the incredible special guests that I've been having on the show. For those of you who aren't quite sure how podcasting works, it's a lot like, talking to yourself. And sometimes over and over again to get that perfect pitch, tone, and get all of what you want to say all out and making sure it's all in the right order. So when I say that our special guests on the show blow my mind is just an understatement. It is so cool to see how passionate they all are, and today's speaker is no different. Linda and I connected late last year over email as she lives really close by to me here on the Tweed Coast in New South Wales, Australia, and I'm so glad she reached out. She is amazing. We've had the best chats and I find her stories so captivating. I could listen to her all day. I'm so excited and can't wait for you to meet her. So, what are we waiting for? Let's dive in. Before we begin, as we are both on country today, would you please join me while we recognise the generations of the local Aboriginal people of the Bundjalung Nation who have lived in and derived their physical, spiritual needs from the forests, rivers, lakes and streams of this beautiful valley over thousands of years as the traditional owners and custodians of these lands. In today's episode, we are diving into the awe-inspiring destination of Christmas Island, otherwise known as the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean. And joining me today is Linda Cash, our East Coast representative for Indian Ocean Experiences and Christmas Island Tourism Association. Welcome to the podcast, Linda.
Whoa, thank you, Steph. I'm so excited.
I'm so thrilled to have you on the show today. And I feel that this idyllic slice of heaven is 1,000% aligning and incredibly on point for Unplug in Paradise. So I couldn't imagine a more perfect destination to chat about in today's episode. I'm so excited.
it is a pretty amazing place that not too many people know much about. So I'll be delighted to share all of its hidden secrets with you.
Excellent. So, Linda, I absolutely love your story and background in travel. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yes. I mean, the reason I'm associated with Christmas Island is because I actually used to live there. So I lived there for 10 years. I'm also a diving instructor, and that's part of the amazing almost 15 years.
Wow.
And then moved back to the Australian mainland, to the beautiful Tweed Valley. I'm now representing Indian Ocean Experiences, which is one of the agents on Christmas Island for their incredible product for Christmas and Cocos Keeling Island. So yeah, I've been very lucky to be associated with the travel industry. I'm also an auditor for Ecotourism Australia, so my
Yes.
passion is definitely slow and sustainable travel. Anything to do with eco travel, nature-based experiences, that is my absolute passion.
Oh, I love that. That's your jam.
That's definitely my jam.
If you could describe Christmas Island in a few words, what would they be?
I have to tell you, the best explanation I ever heard was from a photographer that we had on the island visiting when I was there. He was an American photographer. His name's Colby Brown. He's quite famous. And he described it as, imagine the Galapagos and Hawaii had a baby. It would be Christmas Island. And I just thought that was the most perfect explanation of Christmas Island.
And you can so imagine it, can't you?
Oh, you can, because I mean, the thing about the Galapagos is there's so many unique and endemic species there, which is what Christmas Island has in abundance. And then with Hawaii, you've got the volcanoes and the ruggedness and, you know, the mountainous area, which is exactly Christmas Island, but on like a mini scale. So, yeah, it was a perfect explanation as to imagine what the geography of Christmas Island is actually like.
Absolutely. I can't think of a better description, really.
That's what I thought too.
And aside from you spending so much time on Christmas Island, is there a bigger reason why you fell in love with it as a destination? It's just got so much to offer.
Oh, gee, I mean, I'm a real outdoors girl, so I love nature in any way, shape, or form. And the thing about Christmas Island is that you are totally immersed in nature in everything you do. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you're on an island, you're surrounded by 60 million red crabs, which call the island home. You've
Mm.
got the most incredible ocean, tropical marine environment. Being a scuba diver, there is really nowhere better on earth that I've yet to find.
Wow.
And just, literally being able to finish work at 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon and be in my scuba gear and in the water, by 4:15, finishing the dive at 6 o'clock, coming up to duty-free champagne. I should mention that the alcohol on Christmas Island is duty-free. Yeah, coming up at 6 p.m. duty-free champagne and finishing off with a barbecue in the cove. I mean, there's just no better way to wash away a work week.
Yeah.
I've been working for many, many years, and I still think that was some of the best things about Christmas Island was everything was so close. It's like a microcosm of society. Like everything is so close, so in your face. You are so immersed in nature at every point.
Wow. Okay. So whereabouts is Christmas Island located? I think it confuses quite a lot of people because they think it's quite close to the coast, though, don't they?
Well, it's certainly close to the coast, but not the Australian coast.
Mm.
And I think that's what you're quite right. People do think it's like just off the WA coast. It is actually 2,600 kilometres northwest of Perth. So it's quite a long way from the West Australian coast. It is closer to Indonesia. It is only 300 kilometres from the coast of Java. So it's right up in that tropical region in the tropical Indian Ocean. But yeah, obviously closer to Indonesia than Australia. Having said that, it is an Australian island and you do fly there from Perth. So there is, you get there twice a week on Virgin Australia. Virgin fly directly out of Perth. It also services the Cocos Keeling Islands, that Virgin Australia flight. So a great way to see Christmas Island is in conjunction with the Cocos Keeling Islands. And that's something we can talk about a little bit later, but that's how you get there and where it's actually located. Literally a rock sitting in the middle of the Indian Ocean.
Unreal. And do you need to get passports to fly to Christmas Island?
No, you don't, because it's an Australian territory. When I say a territory, it means that it's not actually part of a state. So it's administered in the same way as like Norfolk Island or the Australian Antarctic Territory. We don't have a level of state government on Christmas Island.
Okay.
So it's a territory, and um, so it is part of Australia, so you don't need a passport. Having said that, when you fly there, you do fly out of the international airport in Perth, but that's mainly for customs and quarantine purposes, because 63% of Christmas Island is national
Mm-hmm.
park, and they're very strict about what actually does go on and off the island as far as customs and quarantine. So whilst you do leave from the international airport, you can travel on any Australian photo identification. So your driver's license, for example, that's absolutely fine.
Unreal. Now, Christmas Island has quite a few amazing once in a lifetime experiences to be had on the island. Can you elaborate on those? One of them being my favorite, and one that I is definitely on my bucket list, is the red crab migration.
Oh, absolutely. Like, and there's just no other way. There's nowhere else in the world you can experience this. Christmas Island is home to around about 60 million red crabs. Now, I should actually tell you the size of the island to put this into some sort of perspective. Christmas Island is 21 kilometres long,
Mm-hmm.
and 7 kilometres across the middle. So it's 135 square kilometres, and if you were to travel right around the island, it's about 70 kilometres of coastline. So you can see we're not talking a very big island here. It actually takes you about 40 minutes to get from one end to the other in a
Mm-hmm.
car. So imagine in an island that size, you've got 60 million red crabs, you've got 80,000 seabirds that actually call this island home, and you've only got around about 1,200 humans. So when I say immersed in nature, you can see what I mean. Yeah, and the red crab migration, oh my goodness, it is like your own little David Attenborough documentary when you experience the red crab migration. Should I tell you a little bit about it?
Sure, I'd love to hear about it. Yeah.
Okay. It happens only once a year, so it has been recognised by National Geographic as one of the world's great migrations. So once a year at the beginning of the wet season, it's actually the rain that prompts the red crab migration. What happens is the female crabs actually move out of their burrows and move down to the ocean terraces.
Mm-hmm.
The male crabs move down to the ocean terraces, they mate. The female crabs, they then develop their eggs. Each female can carry around about 100,000
Holy
eggs. Just think
moly.
about that. So we've got each female carrying 100,000 eggs. And then one night or two nights, depending on the moon and the tides, the females actually release their eggs into the ocean.
Wow.
And that's what they call the spawning event. And it really is like your own version of Animal Planet. As I say, you're sitting on a beach at 4 o'clock in the morning, surrounded by millions and millions of red crabs doing this super funky dance. And
Oh.
you've got to jump on YouTube and have a look, because the way the females release their eggs, they walk into the water, they do this little funky dance, put their claws in the air, release their 100,000 eggs into the ocean, then wander back to the terraces, have a little bit of a rest, and then over the next couple of days, all the crabs move back to the jungle. So we're not talking ocean crabs
No.
when we're talking about this migration, we're talking land crabs. So these 60 million crabs live in the jungle of Christmas
Oh,
Island, and then once a year they do a mass migration down to the ocean to breed and to spawn, and then they move back into their crab burrows in the
wow.
jungle.
So to get a little bit of a scale on how big these crabs are, is there a is it the size of a football, or is it the size of a cricket ball? Like, how big are these crabs exactly?
Probably about halfway between a cricket ball and a football.
Okay.
So probably if you were to put your two hands
Uh-huh.
together, that would be about the size, side by side, that would be the size of a red crab. Now, but that's only one species of crab on Christmas
Okay.
Island. We also have the largest land crab in the world that lives on Christmas Island, and that's called a coconut crab.
Oh.
Um, and it's the largest arthropod anywhere on the planet, and they grow to the size of, I thought Volkswagens when I first saw them, I've got to tell you. but the reality is they can be about a metre across.
Oh,
Leg to leg. They are just extraordinary. And they're called coconut crabs because they actually climb up trees, take coconuts down and eat coconuts because that's their favourite food.
oh my God.
So, and Christmas Island has the largest remaining population anywhere in the world of coconut crabs. So, it's not just the red crabs, it's coconut crabs. It's actually been called the crabbiest place in the world. For good reason. But and then we have the beautiful blue crabs in the freshwater forest area, freshwater jungle area of the island. And the blue crabs are this most gorgeous sky blue colour, and they only live in the freshwater ponds. So when you go into what we call the Dales area, which is a freshwater area in the national park, you'll see lots and lots of blue crabs in there as well. So you've got red crabs, blue crabs, robber crabs. We've also got nipper crabs, which are a beautiful purple colour. So you can see, like, when I say immersed in nature, you've got all these gorgeous crabs, the colours of the rainbow, all throughout the beautiful green jungle. And we haven't even touched on the forest birds, etc., that you'll come across. So hopefully I'm painting a good picture of what you'll actually see when
Definitely.
you visit the jungles of Christmas Island.
Definitely. I've just
But
jumped on Google to, give my curiosity a little bit of brain food. I looked up coconut crab, and there's one question, and it's actually disturbing why it's the top of the list. People also ask, can a coconut crab kill a human?
well, I've never known of that, and I would have to say absolutely not.
Oh,
I certainly, I mean, they would certainly give you a good nip if they actually grabbed any part of your body, but like any nature, we shouldn't be interfering with
no.
nature in any way, shape, or form. So I can't see any reason that a coconut crab would would be able to kill a human. They certainly do grow to an impressive size, and yeah, but no, I can't imagine them actually being able to. I think that's a bit of
I
an
know,
urban
it does
legend.
look like a myth. So there's other wildlife on the island too. There's heaps of bird life, isn't there? Perfect for the bird watchers.
Correct, yeah. So there's 80,000 seabirds called Christmas Island home. And I've got to say, when you land on Christmas Island for the first time, it's a bit like landing at Jurassic Park because you've been flying across the ocean for 3 hours, absolutely nothing there. And then you come across literally this ancient volcano sitting above 300 meters above sea level, completely covered in jungle, and birds are everywhere. And the most prevalent species that you'll see initially are the frigate birds. And this is where the similarity with the Galapagos comes in. There are 3 different frigate bird species that live on Christmas Island. There's the endemic Christmas Island frigate bird, there's the greater frigate bird, and there's the lesser frigate bird. Now, these are massive birds. These are called the pirates of the ocean for a very good reason. And imagine thousands and thousands of them, in the air as you're coming into land on Christmas Island. It is extraordinary. Having said that, it is quite safe to land. Like, don't think that there's any issues with landing, but that's what I mean about Jurassic Park, because from the moment you come in on the aircraft, the skies are just filled with birds. There are lots of endemic species on the island, which means obviously the only place in the world that you will see these species is on Christmas Island. And the most beautiful is the golden bosun bird, which is actually, it's a white-tailed tropic bird, but for some reason on Christmas Island, it's a golden colour, it's a golden morph. And they've got the beautiful long tail. It's probably the most stunning bird I've ever seen.
Wow.
And there are a resident population of those guys live on Christmas Island as well. And then you've got the seabirds, like the frigate birds, the bosun birds. You've got the Abbott's booby, which is an endemic, most critically endangered bird. And then you've also got the forest birds. So you've got the beautiful emerald doves and the melodic sounds of the Christmas Island thrush. And again, these are all endemic. The only place in the world you see them is in the jungles of Christmas Island.
My gosh, wow. It's definitely a very special place.
Oh, for nature lovers, it is incredible.
There's lots of tours and things like that you can do on the islands to really immerse yourself in nature. Can you shine a little bit of a light on those as what's available?
Oh, absolutely. If we just talk about the birds and the crabs, because we've
Oh, sure.
spoken about them now, there is an opportunity in September every year. There's a fantastic citizen science program called Bird and Nature Week. And the reason that that is such a fantastic program is that it's a fully guided week, and you have five scientists that are actually working with you. You're banding the birds, you're working with the goshawk, the Christmas Island goshawk, you're working with crab specialists on the robber crabs and the Christmas Island red crab. So it's a fully guided citizen science week that really gives you the opportunity to get up close and personal with the Christmas Island nature. And that only happens once a year, and that's in September. And this year, it's I think it's the first week of
Mm-hmm.
September that it's actually happening. So if you're interested in that one, you can chat to
Mm-hmm.
you, Steph, or jump on the Indian Ocean Experiences
Sure.
website and look up Bird and Nature Week. And that's yeah, that's a fantastic
Sounds
program.
incredible. So is that something, so it's guided, is it?
Yes, it is. So that's one of the fully guided programs that we have on the island. And it's also a fully inclusive product. So it includes all of your meals. Basically, you fly to the island and we organise everything else for you.
Wow.
All of your meals, all of your guiding, you get to experience the birds, the crabs, you get to experience incredible snorkeling on Christmas Island. One of the things that it includes, for example, is a dinner prepared by the school children at Christmas Island District High School in the hospitality group. So you're actually getting to interact with the community as well in that one. So it's a perfect example of an ecotourism product and a great citizen science product.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds incredible.
Yeah, that definitely is. Yep. No, that definitely is, Steph. But as far as other tours on the island, we haven't even mentioned the marine life yet. And that, as I said, that's part of the reason that I stayed on Christmas Island for so long,
Yeah.
was because the incredible marine life, the diving and the snorkeling. I don't know if you remember the show on years ago called The Great Outdoors. I
Yeah.
think it's still on. But there used to be a presenter on there, Sorrel Wilby.
Mm-hmm.
She was quite famous. She came out to the island and actually filmed some episodes for Australian Geographic on Christmas Island. And Flying Fish Cove, which is the main sort of town, I'll say beach area. It's a cove, and you can literally just walk out off the beach into the most incredible marine environment. She said within 10 minutes of snorkeling in Flying Fish Cove was like a day on the Great Barrier Reef. So there is
Mm.
so much marine life. You're literally within meters of the shoreline in beautiful coral gardens. And because it's a cove, it's really sheltered waters. And the other thing about the waters, which I love, is that the average water temperature is about 28 degrees.
Oh.
So it's like swimming and snorkeling in a warm bath. And not only that, when people think of tropical waters, they think of crocodiles, they think of irukandji, they think of box jellyfish. Well, you'll get none of that on Christmas Island, because all of those critters, and there are things that can kill you, all of those critters require inshore waters. Well, Christmas Island is an island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. There is no inshore waters. Everything is deep ocean. So there's no box jellyfish, there's no irukandji, and there's certainly no crocodiles. So it's safe to swim all year round. You don't need stinger suits or anything like that. So that's another huge benefit of Christmas Island.
Definitely. I definitely like the sounds of not, you know, not having to worry about the water being too cold. There's no excuses really, is there?
No, none at all. No, and there's a fantastic swimming group that goes out 3 times a week down into Flying Fish Cove at six in the morning, and it's the best way to start the day. And tourists are most welcome to join. You literally just pop down there at 6 o'clock. It's not guided or anything. You just pop down there with your mask and snorkel, go for a beautiful swim for a couple of 100 meters out to the point, and then turn around and come back. And if you haven't encountered turtles or eagle rays or some of the most incredible tropical fish in that half an hour, 45 minutes that you're out there, you've had your eyes
Wow.
closed. Yep, it's just incredible.
Unreal. And there's a photography tours that you can do on the island as well.
There are, yes. So for photography tours, we've got a couple of operators actually that visit the island every year, but also some on the island. For example, Kirsty Faulkner, who's a local now and has been for about 15 years, the most gorgeous girl, and she runs photography tours, nature photography tours on the island. And I think that gives you an indication as to how special it is with nature, in that you can actually, people actually run tours to Christmas Island purely for nature photography. There's also Chris Bray Photography. Chris and his partner Jess not started photography tours on Christmas Island and then actually set up an eco lodge on Christmas Island, which is Swell Lodge. Wow, I could talk to you about that for another 10 minutes as well. But the photography tours on the island are incredible, and you can either join them off the island, like you could join a Chris Bray photography tour that actually includes everything, including flights, etc., to Christmas Island. Or once you're on the island, you can join somebody like Kirsty and do a photography tour once you're on the island.
Oh, that would be amazing. Even if you're, a travel agent out there wanting to get, or build your content for social media and marketing purposes, what an awesome way to go and do it, especially, with a professional photographer and on location. Incredible.
Oh, exactly. And Kirsty knows all those Instagrammable places, and she knows the best sunrise spots and the best sunset spots. She definitely knows all the places to go and how to, capture the wildlife, where to go to capture the wildlife. That's the great thing about doing it with the local.
I love that.
And the other tours, like when I was talking about the marine environment, with the diving and snorkeling as well, there are fantastic operators on the island that you don't have to do anything on your own. You've got Christmas Island Wet and Dry Adventures, which operates snorkeling and diving tours, and also they do wonderful sunset tours. So you can go out on the boat and actually be out in the water for a sunset tour. You've got Christmas Island Divers do exactly the same. They operate snorkeling and diving tours. And something new in the last 12 months that started on Christmas Island is free diving.
Oh, wow.
Because the waters on Christmas Island are so clear, the average visibility is 30 to 40 metres every single day. Yep,
wow.
Seriously. The very first time I went snorkeling on Christmas Island and we went out into Flying Fish Cove, you know that scene in Nemo where they get to the end and they go, oh my goodness, the drop off, there is a drop off on Christmas Island, and it's almost like you get vertigo when you go out there because you can literally see for 30, 40 metres just straight down.
That's incredible. Incredible.
The freediving on Christmas Island, the guy that operates it, he's actually an Australian national freediving champion. So not only do you get a world-class freediving experience, you actually get to do the course with an Australian champion. Doesn't get much better, does it?
It definitely doesn't. You mentioned accommodation earlier, Linda. Did you want to touch on a few of the properties there on Christmas Island?
Sure. You remember I did say, Steph, that there's only 1,200 people live on Christmas Island. So that means everything on Christmas Island is small, is a microcosm of society. It also means that you're not going to find any of the big chain hotels. The largest property on Christmas Island only has 16 rooms. So everything is small boutique, generally family run, owner operator. So yeah, everything is small and local.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that we don't actually have some amazing properties on the island. For example, if you're wanting something right on the ocean front, we have something like the Sunset, which has the most magnificent ocean view rooms looking straight out over the Indian Ocean. And it's called the Sunset for a reason, because obviously you get the most magnificent sunset straight out the front. Yeah, straight out the front of the property. That's a very good 3 to 4 star property that that is available right in the settlement area. You've also got some really unique properties such as Swell Lodge. Swell Lodge is an eco resort, but it's not located in the town area. It's located out in the national park. It is magnificent. You really do have to jump on and have a look at the photos of Swell Lodge. It's sitting literally on the coastline in the national park. It's a fully inclusive eco lodge in that you have your own gourmet chef that prepares all your meals for you. All of your tours are included, and you are one of only 4 guests at the lodge.
Wow.
So it is the most bespoke, beautiful eco experience that you will ever come across. Yeah, it is just extraordinary.
Okay.
So as I say, there are only 2 lodges, maximum of 3 guests in each. So actually you could potentially be one of 6, but more likely you're going to be one of 4 guests. And then we've also got some properties such as Villa Papaya. Papaya is it's a Bali inspired villa in the settlement area. When I refer to settlement, I'm referring to like the town area on Christmas Island. It's actually called settlement. So Villa Papaya, as I say, is Bali inspired. Beautiful indoor and outdoor living area, an outdoor bathtub for relaxing under the stars, and within walking distance of the settlement area. So I hope that gives you a bit of an idea of the different options. You've got standard hotel sort of style through to Bali inspired villas, through to the most extraordinary luxury eco lodges.
Sounds really, really nice that they've done quite a few different options in accommodation, all being quite small and boutique and unique to each particular property. And there was something I wanted to ask as well. They're not beachfront properties as such. They're more oceanfront. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, you notice I said
Yes.
oceanfront. There's not a lot of beach as such on Christmas Island. Think of it as a volcano rising up out of the ocean. So a lot of it is quite rugged, rocky coastline. There are some magnificent beaches on the island. For example, Dolly Beach, which I might just mention, was actually named the 7th best beach in Australia back in 2018. So that's how extraordinary Dolly Beach is. Think of that as your own sort of Robinson Crusoe style beach. But in the town area, you've got Flying Fish Cove, but there's no accommodation at Flying Fish Cove because it is an operating area. All the accommodation is about 1 to 2 kilometres along the ocean front, so along the cliff fronts in settlement area. So yes, you're quite right. All of them have magnificent ocean views, but you can't literally walk out of your property and walk onto the beach. It's not that sort of property. There are other properties that are unique. For example, the Divers Villa, that's specific for divers. That's a renovated colonial home, and that's great for groups of divers. So as you said, they're all small boutique style, and some of them are quite unique to the visitors. So whether you're a diver or whether you're a nature lover or whether you are an eco-naturalist and want to experience Swell Lodge, there is definitely something for everyone.
And do you have a favourite property on the island, Linda?
Oh my goodness. I would have to say Swell Lodge is probably one of the most unique experiences I've enjoyed during my time on Christmas Island. I was lucky enough to stay out at Swell Lodge, and just the most extraordinary experience. Having said that, I do love Villa Papaya. I've spent many a night in the ocean view rooms at the sunset. So I actually love them all.
Fantastic. And Indian Ocean Experiences put together packages for Christmas Island?
Yes, they do. Yeah. So the thing about Christmas Island is because it is so small, Steph, it's not a place where you jump on booking.com and book your accommodation and then book your flight. And because everything is so limited, the best way to actually book any experience to Christmas Island is through an agent, whether it be your own travel agent, whether it be through yourself, or whether it be through direct Indian Ocean Experiences, because they have the connections that can link up the flights, the accommodation, make sure that you've got a hire car available, and make sure that at the time that you go, if you want to go out snorkeling, that the dive operator or that the snorkeling operator is going to be on island. Because remember that a lot of these are all small family-owned businesses. So if you do it yourself and you get to Christmas Island and all of a sudden, the dive operator's he's on holiday this week, you may not get the chance to do what you want. So the best way to do anything on Christmas Island is to do a package deal. And then you absolutely know that everything that you want is going to line up. And I mentioned about the hire cars. Christmas Island is not small enough to walk around. You do actually need a hire car or to do some tours. You're not going to find an Avis or a Hertz or a budget rent-a-car on Christmas Island. You will, however, find Kiat's rent-a-car and Sung's rent-a-car, and all of those can actually be packaged up with your Christmas Island adventure. And that's why it's great to book through an agent or through Indian Ocean Experiences, because you know then that they will be available for when you get there.
Yeah, definitely, especially when stock, is not really of the plenty, it's quite limited. So definitely.
Exactly. And the thing is, if you don't want to drive yourself, there are some fantastic guided tours that Indian Ocean Experiences offer as well. So, for example, we've got our orientation tour, and generally we recommend that people actually do that the day they arrive Christmas Island. And in all our packages, that's actually included. And that gives you, it's a 2-hour tour, which gives you a really good overview of the history, the culture, the places of interest that you should see during your time on Christmas Island. Gives you a bit of a lowdown and an understanding of the layout of the island and what activities would be suitable for you. And we generally do that with the day that people arrive on the island. And then you've got the nature tour, which takes you into the dales, into the rainforest, through to the blowholes, and again takes you to some of the most amazing spots on the island. If you're a bird watcher, there's a birding tour, a panoramic bird watching tour you can do. If you want to head on out to Dolly Beach, there's a Dolly Beach tour you can do, and that's the one that I was saying, that's your own little Robinson Crusoe style beach. The reason there's actually a tour to Dolly Beach is that it's about a 40-minute ramble through the jungle to get there. So it's not just a beach experience, it's a whole nature-based experience just to get to the beach. And if you do it with Indian Ocean Experiences, you've got a guided tour. They actually take you out there in their very comfortable four-wheel drive. You've got a guided tour out to the beach, morning teas provided, and you also get to spend some time in what I would consider one of the world's best natural spas, which is some of the rocky terraces on the beach, where you're just sitting in there in this 28-degree beautiful water, and the Indian Ocean is just washing the world away from you. It's pretty incredible.
Gosh, it sounds like the perfect holiday, especially if you're in one of those high stressful, high demanding jobs. So you could just, pretty much bear it all, strip it back, go and enjoy yourself, go get a little bit wild and feral for a few days.
Absolutely. And this is where you said right at the beginning, unplugged in paradise. This is
yes, I know.
It is total paradise. Yeah. Having said that, you're not totally unplugged, because we do have Wi-Fi and we do have mobile service, but only in the town areas. So when you're out on places like Dolly Beach, or you're out sitting under the waterfall, you're not going to, you certainly will not have the opportunity to be checking your Facebook and your Instagram. You'll be taking those Instagrammable shots, and then when you get back to your hotel at night, you'll be, using the hotel's Wi-Fi to load up and to get those Instagrammable shots. But you certainly won't be connected whilst you're actually out in the jungle, and that's the beauty of it. You're totally immersed in nature, and you don't have any of those distractions of life around you. So yeah, perfect, as you say, for those high stressful jobs. Talk about getting away from it all.
Yeah, totally. And that saying springs to mind. You've got to disconnect to reconnect.
Totally. Yes. Yep, totally.
How can people learn more about Indian Ocean Experiences and get some more information about Christmas Island?
Well, we have all the usual channels. So we have a website, indianoceanexperiences.com.au. And the reason it's called Indian Ocean Experiences is that it's not just Christmas Island. We also work with the Cocos Keeling Islands. And the great thing is we're going to have a chat about that another day. But so just to let you know that we also service not only Christmas Island, but also Cocos. We have a Facebook page, and we also have an Instagram channel. So, and also use the services of the Christmas Island Tourism Association, which is the visitor centre on Christmas Island. They also have Facebook and Instagram, and they also have a fabulous YouTube channel. So there's lots of resources out there that you can jump on and actually have a look. But yeah, the best place to start if you're looking at booking a holiday, have a look at our packages. So indianoceanexperiences.com.au, jump on packages. You can actually see all the packages and the prices and what's included, and you can book through your travel agent.
Also, I do want to say that Christmas Island Tourism Association has a really beautifully laid out destination guide that you can download as a PDF, and I'll put all of these contacts in the show notes at the end of the episode, so stay tuned for that information. Thank you so much, Linda, for joining us on the show today. I really feel like I've been around Australia this week and arrived at my destination for the weekend or for the next week, or if I love it, I probably will stay. So Christmas Island is definitely where it's at. Thank you so much. It's been fantastic.
Oh, you're most welcome, Steph. And just beware, because we only went there for 2 years and ended up staying for 10. So there you go. It's that sort of destination.
Well, it's kind of like Middle Earth, isn't it?
It totally is. Yep. Yep. When you're wandering through the dales and you're in amongst those Tahitian chestnuts and huge robber crabs, it really is as though you're walking through Middle
Oh,
Earth. It's
love
so
that.
beautiful.
Thank you so much again. Can't wait to reconnect. And yes, stay tuned for our next installment for Crocus Killing Islands. Can't wait for that. Wow, what an incredible episode. Thank you so much, Linda. Christmas Island is now firmly on my bucket list, and so is the red crab migration. Oh my gosh. Today's show notes are going to be full of destination information relating to today's episode, and you'll be able to find all the links to all the amazing tour operators as well as the stunning properties that are featured as well on Christmas Island. And if Christmas Island and its natural beauty is calling your name, I would love to connect with you to answer any of the questions that you may have, or feel free to get in touch with your local travel agent for more information about this stunning slice of paradise. In the show notes, you will find the PDF download of the Christmas Island Tourism Association Destination Guide to fill you in on everything you need to know about putting Christmas Island on your must travel list. And you can find all the show notes from today's episode over at travelbystephanie.com.au/30. If you have enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe if you're on Apple Podcasts or follow Unplug in Paradise on Spotify. To show your love, leaving me a rating and review on Apple Podcasts would be absolutely amazing. Thank you. Feel free to share this episode amongst your travel crew, and if you are tuning in, take a screenshot and tag me in your Instagram stories. I would love to know which episode is your favorite. Thanks again for tuning in. I look forward to dropping in again soon. Chat soon. Bye.